Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today we're going to go over a reroll guide, and this is not going to be the most friendly guide in the world, and honestly I think no one should reroll, but there's a lot of people out there that want to reroll because they want to start with the best starting account. And if you've seen my best 5 stars and 4-star videos, you probably know who you want to pull. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started on this pain train and how much I'm not going to enjoy explaining this. But I am going to enjoy it because it's fun, I guess. But if you guys can, like and subscribe, let's get started. All right, let's just go ahead and get some of the things you need to know out of the way. One, they have removed guest accounts from Honkai Star Rail. Now, it didn't exist in the first place, but if you remember from playing G Game, there was guest accounts that you could do or rewipe your account, and it was very easy to reroll, even though it was not still easy to reroll. It was easier because you could just do guest account, go through it, reset guest account. You cannot do that on Honkai Star Rail. They require you to have an actual account and register. So that brings us to the second point, which is if you already have a Genshin account, you want your Honkai Star Rail account and your Genshin account to be on the same Hoyoverse account, you cannot reroll, right? Because you have to bind it at the time that you play. So if you want that to be the case, essentially you're not going to reroll unless you want to juggle multiple emails, which brings us on to the multiple emails. In order to get multiple emails, you're gonna have to go to Google, Yahoo, Rocket Mail, whatever other ones are out there, and you're gonna have to go generate a lot of emails. At the time of writing this video, you cannot salt your account. If you're not aware of salting your account on Gmail, it's where you add +1 or .1 and it all filters to your main account. That's the way we typically reroll in a lot of these gacha games, but Honkai Star Rail doesn't allow you to do that unless that changes as it goes live. And then finally, that brings us into the 2 different styles of reroll. Now, there's a 45-minute to 60-minute reroll. There's actually 3 different styles. There's the 45-minute that'll take you to get to the summoning portion. Once you get there, you can use all the tickets they've given you from pre-registration, which is not a lot because they do require you to get a high TL. And then you can use all your primo gems on the beginner banner, or if you're crazy, on the 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉 banner for a few of them, and we'll talk about that in the tier list portion. And you can use what you got. At that point, if you don't get anything good, you can go ahead and move on. But you're not going to get the guaranteed 5 stars, so you have to get very, very lucky. Second portion is to go about 15 minutes later and get your Trailblazer level up to level 5. Without giving too many spoilers, when you leave the first area as you're going to the second area, you're finally going to be able to upgrade your Trailblazer level from the conductor. Now, you may have enough experience, you may not have enough experience in order to do that. And then finally, number 3 is to go 3 hours deep into your reroll. And you're going to have to do some calyxes, you're going to have to dump some energy, you're going to have to go very far into the story. But once you hit TL 15, you're going to get another 10 summons, which should give you a total of 40 summons to be able to guarantee that 5-star off the beginner banner. As a quick little warning, do not summon off the beginner banner if you're not doing it in quantities of 10. Otherwise, you will not get that 20% bonus where it only takes 40 and it would take 50. So make sure you are not shooting yourself in the foot. All right, then quickly as a final little tip on the rerolling section of this guide, I would honestly use an emulator to do this. So if you've gone and gotten 2, 3, 4 accounts, if you open up a emulator like LD Player, which I have in the description down below, you can set up a multiplayer instance. You can set up a singular instance just like you see on screen, get Honkai Star Rail installed, and then go to the multiplayer and go ahead and duplicate that into 2, 3, or 4. I don't honestly think you can do more than 2 in my opinion, because since every fight is RNG, you're just not going to be able to multi-control them to the best of your ability. So you might have to just switch back and forth. So 2 might be your limit, but if you could do 4, you've just done it a lot better. Play all 4 for 3 hours straight, and you probably can pick the best of those accounts. All right, let's talk about the general tips and how you go through the flow real quick. You're gonna start the game, you're gonna go through all the tutorials, spam it as hard as humanly possible. Get that left index finger going. You're gonna have to spam. There is no skip button. But as you progress through the first area, you're only going to get a finite amount of materials. As you go into your adventures log and you see chests laying around, you're only going to get so many EXP materials, and you may get a little bit of gear depending if you've done the events that are on the browsers and stuff like that. I highly suggest that you put every bit of EXP into Dan Heng and into your main character to do as much damage as humanly possible to speed up the fights as quickly as possible. Don't put any into March 7th. Don't put any into... I mean, you won't be able to summon. That's all you got. So just don't do that. Put it into both of those characters and then speed run through it. Avoid every fight you can as you're going through the main ship. Then eventually you'll get to the main boss battle, which not too many spoilers here, but right afterwards you'll be able to summon. At that point, you're only going to have X amount of summoning materials from the pre-registration, as we talked about. Go ahead and use those. And if you're going for 𝙀𝙓, you can go ahead and use your Primo Gems to get 5 pulls on 𝙀𝙓, and hopefully you get really lucky. If you do pull her in that, you should probably just lock in the account, just call it a day, and we'll talk about the tier list. And then we already talked about the TL5 going a little bit further, and then the 3 hours. But those are the big tips to move forward. All right, let's bust into the tier list portion that you guys are looking for. If you guys are looking to reroll, I've got about 3 different styles of tier list that you're looking for. Almost the best reroll you could do is doing those 5 pulls on the 𝙀𝙓 banner, landing 𝙀𝙓, and then getting some combination of Bronya, Himiko, and 𝙀𝙓. If you get any combination of maybe these characters, lock it in immediately. Now, another combination you could do is if you don't, any combinations of these characters as well. Honestly, you could take almost any 5-star if you could land 𝙀𝙓. Just lock it in. But if you get Ting Yun on top of that, absolutely, you've got the most cracked account I've ever seen. Like, say this is your account and you pulled this, you should probably go get a lottery ticket. Now, most people are not going to summon for 𝙀𝙓's banner, and I don't suggest you do that in the beginning anyways, because you're not going to have enough Primo Gems anyways. So what are you looking for off the beginner banner? You're going to be looking for Bronya as your number 1. Even though she just got a little bit of a nerf, she's still the number 1 out there. And then ideally, you're looking for some combination of Ting Yun and maybe Xu Sheng. And I'm probably going to leave Ting Yun and Xu Sheng here, because if you pull any combination of the characters we're about to talk about, it's going to be absolutely amazing. This is going to be a great starter account. Now, if you do, once again, pull Himiko instead of Bronya, great starting account. Himiko wasn't as high rated on my tier list as she is now. She did get a little bit of a buff, but AoE is king, and AoE is going to help you out a lot, and it's going to help push you faster and a lot quicker. The second character you pull is also 𝙀𝙓. Now, 𝙀𝙓 is a healer, and unfortunately, if you do not get Xu Sheng with this combination, you're going to be struggling a little bit on damage. You can use your main DPS, you can use Dun Hung, but eventually they get benched, especially the main character as you progress through the story. Without spoilers, there's reasons why you will use her in a different way, or him, and you would really need this combination right here with Xu Sheng to have a primary DPS. But if you pull this as well, it's still a pretty good account. And the reroll guide that was pretty short and sweet, without showing you guys 45 minutes of straight gameplay. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you gonna reroll? Are you not gonna reroll? Just don't do it. It's just not worth it. But here we are. So have a good one. If you're out there rerolling, take it easy, and fist bump from me to you.